Orlando gratefully accepts Adam's extraordinary offer and reflects on friendship and service within his society. He muses, "Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that do choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee." Orlando's words indicate a selfish, materialistic world in which people don't bother to do anything unless there is an immediate reward. Adam stands out as someone who is prepared to stand up for the values of loyalty and faithfulness, even when it comes at such a price, the loss of his entire life savings. We cannot say that Orlando's words reflect Shakespeare's view, but we can presume that they reflect discussions of the time. It's interesting, isn't it, that even in Shakespeare's day, the established generations felt unhappy about the morals and motivations of the younger ones. Perhaps today's teenagers are not quite as bad as we make them out to be. Perhaps we're just following an age-old cycle of moaning and worrying needlessly about those that come after us. So faithfulness, kindness, and yes, the desire not to be alone, surely combine to produce Adam's offer to Orlando. But seemingly rash offers to part with cash in the name of friendship are seen elsewhere in Shakespeare, most notably in Antonio's perplexing devotion to Sebastian in Twelfth Night. In Act 3, Scene 3, Antonio is once more by Sebastian's side, in spite of earlier pleas from the latter to leave him alone. He openly reveals his devotion to his new acquaintance and admits, "I could not stay behind you. My desire, more sharp than filed steel, did spur me forth." Filed steel refers to a newly sharpened sword, a weapon capable of producing instant life-ending incisions. Yet Antonio's desire to see Sebastian is even sharper than this. Not seeing him figuratively gives him jabs of physical pain. Feeling as he does in this way, the audience are unsurprised when he hands over his purse in case Sebastian wants to do a little light shopping. "Haply your eyes shall light upon some toy you have desired to purchase." Toy has a similar meaning to its modern-day usage, in that it refers to a non-essential, often low-quality item or trinket, although unlike nowadays, the word would not be used to describe things bought for children. In As You Like It, when Adam makes his cash offer, it is to save Orlando's life. Here, in Twelfth Night, Antonio's money would just be used for superfluities, suggesting his extraordinary devotion may stretch beyond the normal realms of platonic friendship. Could filed steel be a euphemism for aroused male genitalia, suggesting a shocking sexual motive behind Antonio's apparent generosity? The old man Candy, maybe not quite Adam from As You Like It's fourscore, but not far off it, in Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, is another who displays extraordinary bounty when he offers George and Lenny his entire life savings. Eavesdropping on their conversation about a future in which they own their own plot of land with a little windmill, a little shack, a chicken run, a kitchen, orchard, cherries, apples, peaches, Candy blurts in excitedly, "Suppose I went in with you guys? That's $350 I'd put in. I ain't much good, but I could cook and tend the chickens and hold the garden some. I'd make a will and leave my share to you guys in case I kick off, 'cause I ain't got no relatives, no nothing." Compare Candy's language to Adam's in As You Like It. Candy's words are remorselessly self-disparaging. He isn't much good, and he feels the need to sign off his will to virtual strangers to give himself a chance of being included in a project that realistically only he can make happen. In contrast, Adam is full of quiet dignity. He admits to looking old, yet describes himself as strong and lusty, "For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood." Candy would never have had the self-confidence to even inappropriately apply anything approaching the positivity of adjectives such as strong and lusty to himself. And these differences highlight the different opportunities for friendship in the utterly dissimilar worlds of As You Like It and Of Mice and Men. In As You Like It, even when the characters experience trouble or hardship, they have friendships to help them through problems, as well as fire in their bellies. Rosaline has Celia, and they fight back against Duke Frederick's oppression through their ingenious plan to escape, disguised. Orlando has Adam, and he fights back against his brother Oliver's planned treachery by teaming up with the old-fashionedly loyal family servants. But the vast majority of characters in Steinbeck's novel, set in the 1930s, the decade of the Great Depression, terrible unemployment and droughts, they don't have either genuine friendships or fire in their bellies. They are downtrodden, tired out from wandering from ranch to ranch and working in oppressively macho ranches for pitiful money. And so Candy's offer of money is, unlike Adam's, not motivated by friendship, but by sheer desperation. The heartless, agricultural America of the 1930s can offer him nothing, hence his last-ditched offer to come in with the only real friends in the entire novel. And it is because George and Lenny are the only real friends in the novel that the ending is so utterly heart-wrenching. Yet paradoxically, the strength of their friendship is shown through the means of a bullet. We are in part 6. Lenny has accidentally killed Curly's wife. Not out of evil malice, not out of sexual lust, but because of his terribly low mental age, which meant he has never understood his own strength and what the consequences of that strength can be. Unhappy, testosterone, adventure-fueled men, including Carlson and of course Curly himself, are armed with guns looking for him, pumped up for some shooting practice. However, in a rare moment of memory control, Lenny has remembered George's instructions from part 1. If you just happen to get in trouble like you always done before, I want you to come right here and hide in the brush. George, therefore, knowing where Lenny will be, is able to get to him before the others. Lenny is taken aback to find out that George isn't angry with him. And so, childlike as ever, he pleads for George to once again tell him about their future together. A future which is different to virtually every other ranch worker because I got you and, George says this, and I got you. We got each other, that's what. That gives a hoot in hell about us. And this is Lenny finishing this off. The simplicity of this refrain is deeply touching. Just the subject I, the verb got, and then the object you. There is no elaboration, no complex words needed, no additional clauses. The simple fact is that George and Lenny have always gone round together, have stuck together through incredibly difficult times. But George knows, even though his lumbering mate doesn't, that he is going to have to kill Lenny to prevent him from being lynched and suffering a terrible death at the hands of a trigger-happy and demonised by anger as opposed to love, Curly. With the sounds of the men approaching and dutifully facing away from George, Lenny asks for one final confirmation that they can move to this idyllic place of their own. Let's do it now. Let's get that place now. His panting enthusiasm and simplicity is shown in the eager repetition of let's. Lenny may have killed earlier in that day, but this thought has evaporated in his childlike excitement and hopes for a non-existent future with his friends. George, in his love and desire for Lenny to die happily, lies and reassures his old friend that they will get that place together. Sure, right now. I gotta. We gotta. George's final words to Lenny before pulling the trigger mirror his old friend's repetition. Just as Lenny enthusiastically repeats let's, George repeats gotta. They both want this impossible dream so much. The difference is that one friend dies thinking it is about to come true, whilst the other is left alone to face a world of dismal prospects and the haunting knowledge that you have killed the only real companion you have ever had. So what is Steinbeck saying about friendship in Of Mice and Men? Well, he's showing how desperate economic times can result in personal survival being prioritised above friendships, as well as how hard manual labour can brutalise, create aggressive, testosterone-crazed atmospheres in which the quieter qualities of loyalty and companionship are unlikely to flourish. And in the friendships of George and Lenny, he shows how opposites can get on, how it is possible to be loyal to your fellow man during times of struggle, even if you have to kill the other in order to show your ultimate love and devotion for them. You've been watching Schofield on Shakespeare. Good morning.